Welcome everyone. Today's video we're going to be talking about support and resistance. Now, support and resistance is a pretty basic concept of technical analysis, and anybody who's a little bit more than a beginner should fully understand exactly what support and resistance is. So yeah, this video is for beginners. However, if you are someone who's already got a bit of experience in technical analysis, then you might still want to watch what I've got to say in this video, because I have got a couple of tips and tricks that can help you plot your strength and resistance levels with a little bit more accuracy. So stay tuned for the rest of the video so I can show you guys everything that you need to know. Now, what is support and resistance? Support and resistance are horizontal levels, zones, which we'll come back to in a second, on charts where price has a tendency to change direction. So basically, a support is a horizontal level below current price, and resistance is a horizontal level above current price. So if you're not understanding any of these words that I'm using at the moment, don't worry, because we're going to head over to the charts now and we're going to show you some examples and show you exactly what that means. So I've just opened up a random forex chart. Forex charts are pretty good to plot strength and resistance on, because even if we go into like the higher time frames here, into the weekly and the month, when we go back all the way into the 80s, we've got plenty of price action and data to use to plot our strength and resistance levels. And so basically what we're trying to do is we are trying to find prices on this graph where there is a lot of change in directions, so where the price bounces off certain levels a number of times during a given time period. Now you can do this in any time frame. I've just got the larger time frame. I'll go on to Y in a second, and then from here you just want to be looking from like left to right, and you want to be seeing, and actually the current price we've got at the moment, 1.55 for the Euro Australian dollar. Now we take that price and we go back and we can kind of see how many times. So we've got touches really recently here, we've got another one here, that's 2, we've got another one here, 4, 5, 6, and again here 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Actually drops a little bit through here, 12 there, 13, 14, 56, so almost 20 touches since the 1980s on a really large time frame. That price has come to this level, whether it's come down to this level, bounced and gone up, or it's gone up to this level, bounced and come down. You know, that's the difference between support and resistance, but regardless, it's acted as both support and resistance, you know, numerous times over the years. So this is what we're looking at as a horizontal level. So this is what support and resistance is. Now, so the difference between support and resistance is, a resistance, like I said, is when price is below a certain horizontal level, like here where the price is coming up towards it, touches and bounces back down. And support is just the opposite. It's when price is currently above a horizontal level, it comes down to it, bounces, and then goes in the up direction. So it's exactly the same thing, just in the opposite direction basically. Certain people like to draw their support and resistance lines in as lines. So if we wanted to now draw a horizontal level on our chart now to represent that support resistance level, the horizontal level that we found, we can stick a nice line in here just like this. However, what you will find, especially when you get down maybe to some lower time frame, and even on these higher time frames, you'll see sometimes price doesn't exactly touch the line. So on some instances, maybe like here, it pretty much almost to the dot touches onto this line. However, sometimes, especially this is a good example, it does actually go a little bit through, and that's because really support and resistance levels aren't lines, they are, you know, we prefer to call them zones. So it's not one specific price, it's actually a zone around that price. So to better represent a horizontal level, we're actually best choosing the rectangle tool here, and instead of having a line, what we want to do is we just want to start at maybe the lower range, which we could say is maybe about here, and then make this box all the way up to like a higher range of there, and there we go. So we can say that when price comes into this box here, whether it's going to come down into it or it's going to go up into it, we can understand that there is a potential for price to change direction. So maybe in the near future on the Euro US dollar, maybe price is going to continue in that little uptrend there. So if we just draw a line going up here, so maybe in the near future we think price is going to go here, but then price starts coming down. Now once price drops into this range here, we have to take into consideration that price could potentially reverse from this point, given that it has done so many occasions in the last 40 years. So one tip I want to give you guys is when you now start opening up your next chart and you start plotting these support and resistance levels, you put one in here, maybe one up here. What you want to do to start is you actually want to go on the largest time frame possible. So usually I like to start on the monthly time frame here, and I like to look for my first support and resistance levels on this time frame. And the reason for that is that I like to label my support and resistance levels on the time frame that I found them. And once you start zooming in into lower time frames, you'll see how that becomes important, because something that's held as a really strong level on a higher time frame, like the monthly or the weekly for example, is going to be something that's going to be much more important than a support and resistance level that held a few times on the 1 minute or the 5 minute chart. Basically the rule of thumb is the support and resistance level on the higher time frame has the biggest significance. So I always like to start on the monthly time frame, and then from here I will start to choose the support and resistance levels that I see. We're going to put in that one in that we saw before, then we'll go for this one that was around here. Like I said, they're not exact. I'm drawing on lines. You know, it depends, everybody has their own preferences. Like I said, you can use rectangles to draw them in as zones if you prefer doing it that way. It's all personal preference as well. And then the feature that maybe we'll put another one down here as well. And then the feature that TradingView has, which is really cool. So if I want to click on these support and resistance levels now, and then I wanted to go into templates. Now you can see how I have a couple saved in already, and basically what you can do is you can create your own templates, and you can color coordinate anything that you're drawing onto your charts, so whether it be horizontal levels or parallel channels or any of the other stuff that you're drawing on, which is really cool, because now for example we know that I'm on the monthly time frame, so I want to state that I found these support resistance levels on the monthly. So here I have the monthly horizontal level template already put in, which is going to be of a certain color, and you can see now that it's taking a different color, and it also has the word monthly wrote on it here. I mean, you can do this all in the settings. You can change the color here, you can go into the settings and you can add some text and stuff like that, which is a really cool feature that TradingView has. So we'll just coordinate them to monthly for a second. And then what we want to do is we want to start going down into lower time frames. I mean, you don't need to go too far back, you know, just anything that's in, and that's the reason why we use the bigger time frames first, so that we can see as much price action as possible for when we do go moving into the lower time frames. So on the weekly there, you know, you just have another look. Is there anything else that really stands out? And another tip as well is don't overcomplicate it, and don't overdo it. Don't just think, well, yeah, I see maybe like it touched like maybe a few times here, and then oh, maybe just once or twice. If it just touches once or twice, personally I would leave it, and I only want the most significant levels on my chart. I don't want too much clutter. I don't want to see these lines like all over the place, like making a mess on my chart. I just want the most important levels. So I think the only one I might take there from that one was that one that I just highlighted before, because there are you know, a few touches here, and then it actually acts as support a bunch of times over here as well. Again, it's not exact, that's why it's better to use the rectangles and create zones, because you know, sometimes it'll fall short a bit, sometimes it goes through. Like I said, these are zones, not lines. So then I can go into my templates and change that to weekly. Now you can see that's changed color, So we know that this one is now a weekly support and resistance level, and it also has the writing weekly. So then it'll be exactly the same again. Usually I go down to in the day chart and look at the price action that happened recently in the day. I'll probably look at about that much data. That's enough for me. And again, I'm going to be looking into here. I can see a few times that it acted resistance, support, support, and now it's acting resistance a little bit. So I'll go and add maybe a daily one in here, a little bit lower. Like I say, it's not exact. That's why you're just going to take into consideration, if you are going to draw lines on your chart, when you're looking at price action on the smaller time frame, and you can see that a monthly level is coming up or a weekly level is coming up, just be prepared that anywhere around where you've drawn that line in could be a potential for a reversal. And then there we go. So I've now changed this one to a daily, and the colour has changed. Now it's a little bit the same, but those two are different colours. One's more like blue and one's more purple. And yeah, like I say, I don't know, overcomplicate it. I can't really see. Maybe add one in there, but yeah, it's not too bad. And so then basically what happens is, depending on what trading strategy you're using, trading plan and stuff like that, which indicators you're going to use, it'll depend maybe which time frames you're going to use. But once you start then moving into the lower time frames, like the 1 hour for example, and then maybe you've got a couple of indicators up on here and you're looking for trade setups, now you can know around on your chart, as price is coming up here, you go, okay, there's a really strong level coming up because we've got a weekly support and resistance level around this zone, not maybe exactly on this line, but around this area we have got a strong resistance. And then also around this area that we currently are with the price at the moment, we have a really, really strong level that we saw on the monthly chart before, where price tends to react a lot. And even going through till today, these last couple of months, look how many times price bounces around this number. It doesn't always have to happen, sometimes it goes through, but you can see even all the way since the late 80s, this zone here has been holding as a support and resistance level quite well. So I hope from that video you guys have been able to understand a little bit more about support and resistance, and also learn maybe a little bit more advanced stuff about how to organize your support and resistance levels much better and be much more effective with them. So obviously the first thing would be color coordinating different time zones so that you can know how strong a certain support and resistance level might be, because if you just have them all the lines colored in blue, then you don't know whether that's a 5-minute support and resistance level, which isn't very important, or a monthly support and resistance level, which is much more important. So it's always important to color code your support and resistance levels. And then moving on, like I was saying before, you should always start with the higher time frames. Start with a monthly, find the most important levels, then move down to the weekly, then move on to the daily, and then maybe the hourly too. And then lastly, just make sure that you only choose the most important levels. Don't clutter your chart up with dozens of lines. Basically, when you're looking at charts, it's important to have your chart as clean as possible to be able to understand what's going on with price action. And one last takeaway point, remember that horizontal levels are zones and not lines. So as price is maybe coming up to a weekly or a monthly horizontal level, then just be prepared that price can turn around maybe any point around that level, around that zone. And okay guys, I think that's pretty much it for today. If you got something out of this video and you are new, then please do subscribe. If you got maybe any friends or family members that are just starting out with trading, you maybe want to show them a few more videos, I'm sure that they'll be able to learn a thing or two. And if you do want to talk a little bit about the trades that you are making, look at some of the trades that I'm doing, then you can always join my Discord community, which there will be a link to that in the description of this video. So guys, thanks for listening as always, and until next time, bye.